We are live.
Hey, we are.
Hi, everyone.
Nice.
Hello. Hello to my dad is frozen himself for some reason. But hello, Clifton. Hello to my dad, Graham, and Wade.
Nice countdown there.
How are you all doing today?
Good.
Nobody wants to be the first.
Well,
no one was going on my end. Might as well just go.
We'll start with the introducing ourselves. I mean, I don't think I need an introduction, so I'll go to Clifton.
Oh, well, I don't really need an introduction either. I'm Clifton 3D. Right there. All right, I'm looking forward to this. This was it was interesting.
Okay, I'm Dad, and I happen to have studied this at school, university, and actually worked on a rig and a platform. So been there, done that.
Wade?
Cool.
I'm just your normal YouTuber that plays games a lot, too much compared to sleep. You know, normal. Just busy.
To give context, first of all, thank you to everybody for being here, and also everyone watching and commenting and chat. So yet again, Horror Me Thursdays, and today's a Wednesday. So, but I'm gonna be watching Borderlands in the cinema tomorrow evening. Therefore, we couldn't do our usual 8 p.m. BST show, so moved it to today. And the show that we are discussing is called The Rig. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's something that I decided to watch after actually playing a video game where you're walking around on a Scottish oil rig in the North Sea. And it just kind of inspired me, and also like with, having my dad on who has a lot of experience with oil and gas. I just thought it would be interesting to review it. So we have watched it. Wade has not, but it would be interesting.
Last minute edition. I didn't even know she was on live, to be fair.
But also just to still good to have you here. Just to give context again, it's a supernatural kind of thing that happens, and I think a lot of us people don't really appreciate the workers and people who do work on oil rigs and the ones who do give us electricity, like in order to actually stream right now. There's a whole bunch of people out there doing very hard work to be able to give us the power. Sorry, Dad, what was that?
Oh, that's right. No, that's right. So I think, unfortunately, most of the generation younger than me think that electricity comes out of a wall with a 3-pin socket. So someone has to create it somehow. Otherwise, gas. So there's other ways, but gas is it. We discovered North Sea gas in the 1960s, and in the 1970s we found the by the way, this program shouldn't have been called The Rig. This isn't a rig. This is a production platform. A rig is something you drill for oil in. Right. You might even have a rig on top of a platform, but that's a simple technicality. So, but yeah, it was good. And I think I worked on platform. The one behind me is a 4-bar platform, and it's the same as the one on the TV series, where you've got 2 separate bits and you've got gangplanks between the 2.
You're kind of cutting in and out. I don't know if it's yeah.
Perhaps try turning off the camera. That's like down on the bottom. You can press on stop cam. Maybe the audio comes across better. Maybe.
Okay, is that a little bit better? It could just be the rubbish internet.
Right.
So yeah, one of the platforms I worked on,
you sound like a robot.
Yeah, it's not the cam.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what else it could be. Let me see. Maybe I've got too many windows open. I think that might be it.
Could be,
so,
but
let me try and close that one.
Just to give you some time to figure things out, let us actually watch the trailer.
All right.
Show. Prince, please be quiet. I'm streaming.
But before we do that, do you want to welcome the chat?
I thought I did. Yes.
I mean,
hi, chat.
Sure. I thought I was just gonna bring up.
Hey, Jason. Good to see you.
Yes. There's.
And hello, Ryan. Yes.
Kathleen Whitley is here.
Hi, Kathy.
And here's Andy Pickle. Hey, Andy. Great to see you.
Good to see you too. Lovely to see everyone. Yes. So again, being extremely unprofessional. Dad, I'm gonna. Yes. Here we go. Now you're. Yes, this is better. So let us watch the actual trailer, and just to give the audience and everybody watching some kind of understanding what we were actually talking about.
Before we get to today's work plan, I know some of you have been waiting for your ride home, but you're gonna have to wait a while longer.
How long, Magnus?
Until there's a ride available, we all have work to do.
Power outage across the accommodation block.
Could it have been seismic?
Well, we keep punching holes in the earth. Eventually, it's going to punch back.
Hold on!
Let's kick it back down here! It'll come back.
Push it, Alwyn. Shut it down.
Oh my God.
Kinloch Bravo to Coast Guard. I repeat, Kinloch Bravo to Coast Guard.
There's no radios, there's no phones, there's fog, these shakes. What is going on out here?
This'll split the crew.
They're already split.
This ain't normal. We all know it, but we don't want to see it.
Since the fog came in, some of our crew have had a psychological difficulty.
What's happening?
That's what you get for diving into the abyss.
Nature isn't a balance, it's a war.
I'm telling you, he's trying to warn us. We're all finished.
Wake up! He's got to be dealt with!
My job
is to get you all home.
We don't negotiate with nature.
You're all being reckless!
It isn't something new. It's something old. And it's waking up. We're listening now.
All right, so Amazon needs to actually pay me for promote their show. But yes, to quickly go around the panel, I mean, one of the polls that I put in the chat is, would you ever actually work on an oil rig?
Nope.
Nope, definitely not. Partially like Frostfang here in the chat. 3 of his major fears: heights, fear of remote deep water, and claustrophobic. I don't have the last one. I've never been near the ocean, so I don't know about remote deep water, but definitely scared of heights.
Dad?
Well, I did. So, yeah, there are jobs that you do need to have a good sense of height. So if you are scared of heights, probably not the best thing to do. I don't know why you're worried about the water. Hopefully you don't get anywhere near it. So apart from the emergency evacuations, then you actually end up popping down in the sea for a bit. Whether you're at 300 feet or 1,000 feet water, really does make a lot of difference. So,
Dad, you're sounding like you're actually on an oil rig right now.
wow.
Like,
Yeah,
how's the internet connection there?
Must be the internet. Yeah, I'm sorry. So,
That's all right. For me personally, I think also the fear of heights and just being isolated from everything for weeks and weeks. And
no, I mean, nowadays I think it's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. But when I did it, I was lucky. It was 1 week on, 1 week off. So that was not a bad rotation. But the boy who was worried about a helicopter.
Yeah, you're still sounding like a robot.
What can we do then?
My dad is not an actual AI. But one of the things that really interested me in the show it is the way that people interact with each other when things go sideways and bad things happen. It could be anything from, weather related. In this case, it's more supernatural. And it is going back to when they actually did mention this in the episodes, James Cameron's film The Abyss from 1989, when a whole bunch of oil rig workers encounter some sort of alien species after they drill into something in the deep sea and wake some sort of like Leviathan thing. And also how the crew interacts with each other. So it brings out a lot of questions about, like, what do you actually do in emergency situations? Are you going to be that person who's going to be running around and acting crazy? Or are you going to be cool, level-headed? Or are you going to, maybe be more selfish in situations? So for Dad, for you watching the show, I mean, like you said, you've had experience being on platforms, offshore sea platforms. What kind of training do you actually go through?
Well,
like,
am I sounding any better because I've changed my mic? I don't know if that helps at all.
Yeah, you sound very good now.
Okay, that's good. I changed the mic. I think I know what was the problem. It was the mic off the camera.
No, you sound bad again. I jinxed it.
All right.
I think it is actually the connection, but
sorry about that. Do training for those things there, and so until you're fully trained, you won't go. You won't be allowed on the rig. But the real problems are the day trippers, people who come out for just a 1 or 2 days. They haven't had the proper training, and now the safety in the North Sea is very strict, so they wouldn't even be allowed to go now without full training. But yeah, it still doesn't. In an emergency, you have to keep cool. You have to do the right thing, and sometimes the right thing is what rule book is. So when there's a major disaster with Alpha, the ones that survive are often the master point. So, so you've got to know your way around. That's these things are not small. These are like ocean-going liners. You've got 8, 10, 12 levels. It's quite a large area. There'll be whole areas you don't know your way around, and it's all jammed in because they want to optimize the space. So you've got to know your way around, and you know where the exits are and the safe routes out.
Yeah. Also to go to the kind of giving some background, the show was made in, when was it, 2022, and as a lot of our lovely viewers are pointing out, a lot of people from Game of Thrones that we recognize in the show. Yes. I also want to ask a question to Clifton, Wade. Do you actually understand Scottish people when they talk?
For the show, definitely. Most of the time, if
go.
What?
Nothing.
Oh,
I heard
I believe that if I was in Scotland and they would just flat out, not just go at it, I probably would have my troubles understanding them.
Yeah. If they come from Aberdeen, you would understand them. They speak very good, very clear English language. If they come from Glasgow, that's the difficulty. But there's also a group.
That's a very nice way of putting it, Dad.
Yeah, well, I isn't English, and a group of offshore scaffolders and people like that. They all come from Newcastle and Geordies. Nobody can understand what they're saying.
No, you can't. No, yeah. I love the Scottish accent. I absolutely love it.
Anna, have them leave and then come back and see if that makes it better.
Oh yes, Dad. Do you want to leave and then
I thought
come back?
I did. That's what I just tried, but I'll try it again.
Yeah, try and do it again. Maybe restart your computer, because when we were backstage behind the scenes, we were having a lot of good banter and everything was fine. So I'm not sure, if it's.
Do you think your dad has a VPN?
Probably does. Yes. I mean,
it could be that.
Might have to turn it off. I don't know.
Yeah. But going
Sorry,
to
Deb.
also chat as well. Deepwater Horizon was a very good film. Kurt Russell and Mark Wahlberg.
Yep.
Great film.
And yes, this is the one that I also knew. Armageddon. It's probably the last show or movie that I seen with an oil rig.
Armageddon with Bruce Willis.
Yes.
Yes.
Where does that have an oil rig? It's in space on an asteroid.
No,
Yeah, but they're drilling
On
for
Earth.
oil. You know,
that's how
I
you
drilling.
get the job.
They're,
Come on, Anna. You should know better.
so they're the best drillers around.
Oh, I need to rewatch it because I completely, yeah. So with this show, what stood out to you, Clifton?
Mainly the character dynamic between each one of them. I really thought that was amazing. The dynamic that every character had with one another, and the acting was just really good. It was great to see, and yeah.
And so what happens is normal. Hey, Dad.
I don't know if that's any better, but try it again.
Normal day at the office. Basically, people just doing their jobs, and then something happens. And one of the things that happens is all of their communication systems go down.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, that didn't really make any sense to me because if something like that would happen on a massive rig that's producing a lot of oil or gas, wouldn't you have like contingency plans to be able to actually communicate with, the mainland? It seems like they were just completely useless. And exactly, this is so a weak or no signal.
Do you perhaps have a VPN on?
No.
Okay.
Oh, maybe
that
it's
would have
because
been my next guess.
Maybe it's because you have the background on.
I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but there's a bit of issues in London at the moment, and my understanding is that some of the communications is being monitored and slowed down and scrambled. So, for instance, WhatsApp, video calling, voice internet. A couple of ago, I think there's
that could be it too.
Stuff going on in London that's stopping easy communication.
Well, I'm in London. If you didn't know that, I'm in London too, but maybe
You're not in London. You're on the outskirts. This was central London. They shut down communication across WhatsApp, Telegram, and
yeah, I don't know why it's being weird. Maybe people don't like us talking about how people actually work so hard to give us the things that we take for granted, and promoting all this stop oil protests that have been happening for years and years in the UK. Like Dad, you said, a lot of the younger generation just think that all of this energy comes from some magical power out of nowhere, and don't give credit to the people who work so hard. So how many actual rigs are there, like offshore platforms in the North Sea? There's over like 180.
Yeah, might be. I have no idea, but the one I worked on is now being decommissioned, so it's over 40 years old. So the one that looked like the one in the show, and quite a few of them are. They're all these had steel legs, so you can so that's the one I use. The left hand side is the production form, the right hand side is where the wells are, and so to keep the two apart, just in case there's any fires and blow account. So, but no, I mean the amount of helicopters flying backwards and forwards, and the number of supply boats and standby vessels and things. It was a big operation, and that's why in the UK, I want to share new oil and gas and maybe existing oil and gas, and say that people can work. It has a really big population all connected directly or indirectly to the oil and gas industry. You know, if you're an electrician and you work on a rig, you might earn £70,000 a year. If you're an electrician and you work on a ship, you might earn £40,000 a year. And if you're an electrician and you work on in a factory in Glasgow, maybe 35. So they are high-paid jobs in the oil and gas industry for people, and that's not just because there's a risk element. It's it's a little bit more specialised. So there's not going to be all these.
And one thing that Kathy pointed out in chat is there are women who work engineering jobs and do a lot of the stuff that usually we think that men do.
Well, that was the issue when I was at university. We had one woman on our course, and she was a very good engineer, and so she wanted to do the same as all the men, go offshore, work on the rigs, production engineering. But of course, in those days, there wasn't separate accommodation. And the Norwegians were always a little bit more ahead than the British. Because the British were really Americans, and then the British took over. They originally all came from the first offshore rigs started in Louisiana in about 2 foot of water, and then they developed the technology mainly out of the States, and then brought it for the North Sea. So one of my friends who's actually working in the oil and gas industry more doesn't work on the rigs anymore. She was one of the first women offshore and working there. And now it's quite common. It's if people want to come and be a petroleum engineer like I was and be a woman, that's no problem. Lots of geologists are women. Less so for the heavy lifting jobs like the roustabouts and the roughnecks and the people at the top of the and then the guy that got on his shoulder, typical guy, what was his name? He got just more Magnus, I can't remember which one he is. But he's basically getting too old, and I bet you he was one of the guys that could lift heavy things very quickly, and worked really hard, long hours, and ate 3 steaks a day, but consumed thousands of calories because he worked, with thousands of calories. There was loads of people like that in the early days, but they've all just got a bit older, and we've all moved on, right?
So what do they actually eat on rigs usually? Because I know that for instance, like being a chef or a cook on a rig is a very high paid job. And I was talking to Ryan about this the other day, about how it's kind of the same in the military, where it's the chef, the cook, is you're supporting the morale of people because you are isolated. You are away from your families. You're working in highly stressful environments and situations where things could go wrong. I mean, you're sitting on top of so much pressure, and just like with Deepwater Horizon, what happened, complete disaster. But like the chef and the cook is the one who, like, everybody likes a good meal at the end of the day.
Food is very important, and don't get the form works 24 hours, 7 days a week. So you might be thinking it's time for my breakfast. Somebody else is thinking, take dinner or this. In the old days, it was very lavish food. You could have steak and lobster virtually every meal if you wanted to. Now there's a lot more nutrition. People, will have salads and muesli, and they'll have lighter dishes, and they'll balance them. So food's very important. For food's bad, and
mushy.
Everybody gets the food's bad.
And going back to the show, I think one of the main characters who annoyed myself, and I know Clifton would agree, is the American woman. She was so annoying. But at the same time, she actually did have a point.
Whoa. She can't be that annoying. How offensive.
She was extremely annoying.
Right, you're making friends here.
But I think Deepwater Horizon also in the show kind of went into that when the BP guys came in and started talking about how, well, no, like, we need to fill a quota, because if something happens, that there's an emergency and you push that red emergency button, everything stops working. All the machines go off, and then you're losing millions and millions of dollars with every second that the machines stop working. So she kind of had a point, but at the same time, it's like, Dad, like, what do you think that the main guy made the right decision to tell them to stop all production?
I have to say, if this was 30 years ago, 40 years ago, nowadays, safety's first. They would stop at an instant. It wouldn't be even, and nobody would even bother. It's safety is always number one. So if there's an issue now, safety comes first. Nobody asks a question. Nobody challenges it. So you wouldn't get that type of person today. They've been trained and have understood.
And do you think that what happened actually with Deepwater, because I talked to the people back when I was a journalist, interviewed some of the people who were involved in the cleanup of the disaster that was Deepwater. Do you think that really made a difference and brought a change to how safety procedures are on rigs, or any kind of production where there's a big risk of things going wrong?
I think was a special case that probably hasn't changed a lot of safety methods. What it has done is make sure there's more engineering done up front. What BP was trying to do was to try and remove what they call a casing string. There's like several sets of tubes that go inside each other as you go down, and that's the expensive bit. It costs a lot to do it without one of those. So most companies wouldn't have done that. There's pipe exploded, and of course that made massive changes all over the world in the way safety was done. Automatic shutdown valves, so that gas can't flow when the pressure's off on one side. basically you were sitting on top of a blowtorch, and now that can't happen. So the design changes from Python Alpha were massive in the industry. With Deepwater Horizon, because it's not production, it was drilling. There's been some optimization changes.
And so I had a poll that I put out asking people if they would want to go and work on a rig, and a lot of people said no. And I don't blame them.
Well, in the good old, I can tell you, back in when I was working on the Shell platform format, and well, that's the other thing in the names. Names, Dunlin, that's the name of the field. There's Murchison.
Sorry, Dad, you're again cutting in and out. So what did you say? Dunlin?
So Dunlin, there's a is it Mr. Dunlin? That's the name of a Shell oil field. There's a Murchison, that's the name of a Conoco oil field, or originally. There's an Alwyn. There's a Full Mer, M-E-R, which is the Shell oil field, but it's spelt wrong in the show. It's spelt with an E rather than an A. Right?
I didn't even. Yeah, I didn't catch that. Oh, interesting.
The characters is a button.
It's so fascinating to me to actually like have you on, because you know things from a perspective of actually. And you said that you thought that a lot of the things portrayed in the show were very accurate.
Yeah,
to the way that this is not a real rig. They completely created it in a studio to make it look like, and it seems like the people who made the show, well, being Scottish, would know their North Sea offshore platforms. But one of the actual creator of the show is a guy called David McPherson, who's a Scottish dude, and he wrote a novel about dragons.
Well, there's flames in both, right?
Yeah, it's not Welsh though.
We have this coming out with hot flames coming out,
and that's another thing. Also, like with, I don't even know what it's called. I haven't done my research on that, but I remember asking you this a couple of years ago. What is the thing that with the flame that comes out and releases basically the pressure? That sticks out.
The pressure's two things. In the Deepwater Horizon, there's a thing called the pressure, which is the thing that controls all pressure. It's got 3 different systems to stop pressure.
London's really not liking you right now, Dad.
Yeah.
Yes. Andy's talking about Titanic, and one other thing that and I talked about it, this show mentions, is the brilliant 1989 film with Ed Harris called The Abyss. And let's just have a look at the trailer, because it's fascinating, and the whole point of this show or the film is about the supernatural. So we're tapping into some things we might not even understand what is under the ground in the sea, like the Mariana Trench, or, you know, there might be things out there that we don't know about. I mean, again, there's multiple people going around talking about how they see like UFOs going into the water and coming out of the water, and like I think that the idea that we do need to love nature and respect nature, is what this show is trying to tell us. And looking at, how can we coexist? Yes, we do need electricity. Yes, we do need certain things. We do need the... Yes, Dad? Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, we things geologists know about the history of the world. We found, for instance, cold water corals, which nobody knew that existed, until we started going to deep water and things like that. So there's a whole load of stuff, and the deep water sea animals, there's loads down there that we don't know about. So, but yeah,
So Dad, Andy's asking, like, are all the British platforms all in the North Sea?
No, there's some in the Irish Sea. There's some there was one in the Channel, and the North Sea is most of them. But then, of course, when you say British platforms, I mean we're dotted all around the coast, but most of them are up in that northeastern corner. And there's, it's not North Sea. One is the southern North Sea. One's the northern North Sea. They've all got
and thankfully Scotland is still part of Britain for now.
Yeah. I mean, there's some in the Irish Sea and the Liverpool Bay, places like that. So on the west coast of England, there's some platforms as well.
And I watched a video earlier about the one of the biggest offshore platforms, which is based in off the coast of Sakhalin, Russia. And that thing is massive. I mean, it's a wonder how people can actually build something like that. I'll try and find a photo of it, but that thing is just huge. It's like a floating city.
Yeah, is that a concrete base on that one?
Yes, it's the concrete base. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some in Norway that I think were the model for that. So they're massive.
Yep.
What if my sound is still working okay? I was going to tell you a little story about why the Shell oil fields in the North Sea, like Dunlin, like Fulmar, are all named after birds. Does anybody know why that is?
Nope.
So when the geologists were sitting mapping the North Sea for the first time, they decided that they would name they identified that they might
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your internet.
Name the first one A, the next one B, the next one C, the next one D, like you would. And then because the guys in Holland, the head of Shell at the time was in Holland, he said, well, what do you mean A, B, C? I'm doing Nigeria, I'm doing this country. So they said, okay, it's AUK. Okay, then BK. Then UK. So by the time we got to EFU, they realized
yeah, you're again cutting in and out. It's very robotic.
I've just checked my speed. My speed is much slower than normal. I think there's something on in the region with the
probably. Internet. Wade, would you like to live on something that looks like that?
No.
I will post. I'm
still here. I'm not very helpful with this conversation. I'm doing other stuff, but I still hear. But it is soaking it all in. I can tell you a lick Only thing I know about oil rigs is Armageddon.
Oh my god. Clifton.
What?
Yes.
I didn't know you were streaming today, to be fair.
Well, I am streaming because you're on the stream with me.
No, I know. Before you started is what I meant to say.
Yes, we talked about being on track. But again, going back to the show, I loved the power dynamics between the Game of Thrones people. It was like Game of Thrones, but instead on a North Sea offshore platform.
Yes, it definitely had that vibe, mainly because the characters were the actors were all in Game of Thrones. So yeah, but the dynamic in the show between the different characters was I believe for episode 1 definitely the main draw for me.
Dad, did you like the protagonist?
I think it was all right. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I was trying to guess what was going wrong. So, but yeah. Anyway, the joke was AUK is the. So,
You have to say it again because you're cutting in and out.
This is frustrating.
Andy says they got to FUK and said it was a bad idea.
That's correct. But so what they said is AUK is Auk, the bird, the seabird. So then B, they named after the seabird Brent. C was a cormorant. D was a dunlin. E was an eider. F was a fulmar.
So the name of the platform in the show is Kinloch Bravo. What does that mean? Okay. Well, we do love our Scottish things.
Yeah, Bravo, because there's Alpha. Normally Alpha as well. Piper was a Piper Alpha that blew up.
Oh wow!
So so Bravo is just they probably had another one. Well, they had 2 bits, didn't they? There's 2 platforms, so
right.
Maybe one of them's Kinloch Alpha and one that's Kinloch Bravo.
I see.
And so we will be ending the stream soon because I know we're all tired.
What are you talking about? It's midday for me. Almost night.
Sorry.
Oh wait, I forgot. It's all Europeans over here.
Oh my goodness.
My internet's terrible.
Yes, we should watch this. This is like one of the best films, and if you haven't seen it, then definitely.
I'm not a horror fan, so I haven't touched this movie.
An American nuclear submarine went down. Your company has authorized the Navy's use of this facility for a rescue.
My people are not qualified for this. We're oil workers.
Lieutenant Koff will transfer down to you with a SEAL team.
You'll do absolutely nothing without direct orders from me.
There is something down there. Something not us. Not human. Please, you have to trust me. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. We all see what we want to see. He sees hate and fear. You have to look with better eyes than that.
Yes. So that's one thing that I think the show actually does again touch upon is our relationship with the environment we live in. Certain things we still don't know. And so much like we're trying to go into other planets, and going to space, but we don't even know our deep oceans and our seas and what secrets they hold. And I think that's the beauty of the show. And there is a supernatural element to it. That's
Oh, yeah.
what I took away from it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing what episode 2 brings
Mm-hmm.
and how it continues and all works into each other. So
Yes, and I'm very happy that they actually the show didn't really do well with a lot of people, but they did renew it, so it is getting a season 2. And I think one of the reasons is because a lot of people don't actually, like being confronted with the reality of how we do get the things that we take for granted. But it's good to be able to talk about it. And there is a horror element in it, which is if all of this stopped working, we'd all be fluffed.
Oh yeah, we certainly would.
So let us go around the horn. And first of all, I really want to thank you, Dad, for joining. I know you're very busy, and even though the internet is not great right now, but I appreciate your input, your expertise in the area. I think a lot of people cannot say they would ever be on a platform or have been an engineer who's worked on, these massive beasts in the middle of the sea, and had that experience. So thank you. And just give your last thoughts of, like, did you like the first episode? Or
yeah, I'm going to definitely watch the rest. In fact, I almost watched the second one last night, so straight back to back. So yeah, I was interested, definitely, and obviously professional interest as well as the story. And one thing I would say, when you're a young kid, you've done your study work in the university and everything, you actually do something. It was great. Just the underwater helicopter escape, things like that. That was fantastic. Experience, and I've definitely seen things that other people won't have seen, and been places that other people won't have been. Some hairy and some not so hairy. And now I keep it fairly simple. I go to nice countries where it's warm and sunny, and the rigs are easy to get and stay in the house.
Oh, Kathy says, thank you, sir. It was very enlightening. And of course, yes, it is. It is a privilege to for you to be my dad. So,
all right.
Yeah. And I definitely want to say I enjoyed it. I hope that for episode 2, you're going to be here as well. And maybe by then, the internet in London works.
I'll get Alice to buy me some more gigabytes.
yeah, the internet in Morocco seems to work better than it does in the UK. But
you're right.
I'll be right back.
So Wade has not watched the show, but as always,
hey, I might have to watch it now.
Oh yeah,
oh, maybe you should. Yeah. So
I didn't even know it was a show. I thought it was like a movie for some reason. I'll be right back. I gotta go plug my computer in. So I'll be right back.
If we're going to talking about plugging, Clifton, plug yourself.
Yeah, you can find my channel under Clifton 3D, same as my name. I try to make videos when I get to them about entertainment. I'm hoping to stream again soon, have insert culture. I do have to work on that. If I can possibly make it, there's going to be some game streams this week. So, yeah, I look forward to that. And thank you for having me on. Thank you, chat. Definitely. Thank you, Graham.
No problem. Good to see you.
Wade, plug yourself too, please. Okay, he actually took that literally, and
No, I'm trying. I'm here. Sorry, my battery was low on my laptop, so I was trying to.
What are you up to, my friend?
Oh, what am I not up to? Sorry.
Are you actually Googling what you're up to?
No, my battery was like at 10%, so I had to go plug it in and go grab my power cord for the laptop. So that's what I was doing. Okay. So, I think I'm almost done with Alan Wake 2, if I had to guess. Hopefully at 3 more planned. Not one isn't till 11th, 12th, and 13th are the next 3. So hopefully by then, either by the end of the 3, I should be done. Worst case scenario, I add a couple more. But yeah.
Yeah, so everybody go and check out Clifton. I mean, my dad's not a YouTuber, so don't check him out. And
thank you, Anna, for inviting me last minute.
And go check Wade out. I'll put all the links to everyone in the description. So do I actually have like an outro? I don't think I do.
I don't believe so. I think last time you just
an outro. No.
I think last time you just ended it.
Yeah, I don't know. Clifton, do you think I should actually do this thing that I'm gonna do?
If it is what I think it is, it's gonna be fun as hell, yes.
All right, so I'm gonna do this and then we're done. Thank you, chat.
Bye.
Love you guys. Take care.
Am I missing something?
Put on my blue tracksuit and I got on a bus. Sat down by the man stinking of stale piss and got up again with minimal fuss. At the Mecca bingo, where the Muslims go to bed. Yeah, I got off at the right bus stop, but I ain't done no shopping yet. But I'm walking to Lidl. Yeah, I'm walking with my Primark shopping bag. Walking to Lidl, 'cause there's a special on my favourite bags. Saw the off-price chicken on the corner of aisle 6. Saw old Mavis had her eye on it, so I nicked a walking stick. Now security, they did not see me. They just loitered round the door. But I've got chicken in my bag, and with the special bags, I know I'm coming back for more. I love shopping in Lidl. I love 20 packs of crisps for 15p. Shopping in Lidl. Cider for 10p is great for me. Shopping in Lidl. The only place to go to get your fill. Shopping in Lidl, where you end up with a minus £10 bill. They've got codfish on the counter, bananas hanging in the air. With your limited funds, you can still buy food when you think you haven't got a prayer. You got a prayer in Lidl. Down in the wine and beer aisle, I fill up my bag with booze. They asked me if I'm gonna pay for it. I said, is that Pope due? So they take me into the office and I shout with all my might. They said, tell me, are you a Robin Slag? I said, yes, I am tonight. I love shopping in Lidl. Tins is labels I can't understand. Shopping in Lidl. It's a cut price shopping wonderland. Shopping in Lidl. It's a place where dreams are bought and sold. Shopping in Lidl. A multicultural place for young and old. Put on my blue tracksuit.